Hello guys, how are you doing? Today we're gonna talk about the movie A Bronx Tale. A movie that I had no faith in at first was able to explore its themes in a way that I wasn't expecting. My expectation was to see the whole story of black girl is not accepted into white boy's family or white boy tries to fit in into hers. But this movie is much more than what my mind had initially orchestrated. Honestly, I just think that revealed my hidden inability to dream of a great biracial romance movie. Not by choice, just lack of evidence. This movie is about love, all kinds of love, and loving in a hard society. A Bronx Tale tells you exactly what to expect from it just by the name of the movie. It's not just a racial story or a friendship or a relationship story, it's history. Chaz Palminteri history. I'm so sorry if that's not how you say your name. Calogero Lorenzo Palmitri plays the character Sonny, but in real life he's the main character. The moment we see Calogero witness a murder as a child is history and not story. Perhaps that's why this movie felt so alive. A writer puts his heart onto paper because there's a desire to communicate something. A Bronx Tale was initially written as a play when Chaz was fired from his job as a bouncer for stopping Irvin Paul Lazar from entering a party that was actually being thrown for him. Lazar, the talent Asian / lawyer / everything, got him fired. And that's what inspired Chaz to write A Bronx Tale. And he wrote it in the form of a play and performed it as a one-man show. In the middle of a crisis, this movie was written. A movie about the unfairness of life came after an unfair incident, and it created a beautiful piece. There's probably a lot of ways to describe and analyze this movie, so I'm just gonna use my own lenses. So feel free to use yours as well. As I talked about previously, Chaz, he wrote the Bronx Tale because of the incident that happened, but also because no one was casting him and he was an actor. So I do understand the rage he must have felt. Like acting, singing, dancing, those are jobs that are really hard to grasp onto if you don't have any kind of advantage. Nepotism, looks, money, that's all on the list. Talent is there as well, but it occupies a bottom place. Everyone has some kind of advantage, even if it doesn't look like one. Because if Chaz wasn't fired from his job because of Irvin, he wouldn't have written he wouldn't have wrote that play. So you could say that's kind of an advantage. However, it was still his choice and not Lazar's choice to write the play. So what do I want to say with that? An unfair advantage is only an advantage when you choose to use it. In a neighborhood where everyone, kids and even the elderly, knew the unspoken rules, the lively streets had commands written in the air, and a collective mind was the way. Everyone seemed to know each other, but mothers still had to check on their kids from the window from time to time, because adults understood every known facet owns a hidden one. I remember clearly. When I first watched this movie, I remember my first thought was, why is the introduction so long? Reality was that the introduction was actually the whole story. And I realized that I'm so used to seeing, when I was young, scenes at nothing but filler words to give context. Have you heard the phrase show don't tell? I believe this is a way of trying to follow that rule, but it still looks bad. Because you're trying to show relevant information in an irrelevant way. I don't care about kids that fell in love in kindergarten because I don't care about kids' romance. I would be weird if I did. But I do care about Calogero and his dad and Sonny because the start of the story is a story in itself. It's not just a setup, but it's a story in itself. it complements, but it also exists alone. Calogero's childhood focused on showing his relationship with his father and with Sonny. Also, Lorenzo is played by Robert De Niro, and he actually directed this movie. There's not an abrupt change in the relationships these characters have. Each action has their consequences, and it moves people and their relationships forward or back. Lorenzo, at first glance, is depicted by his own child eyes as some sort of hero. The smart dad that can fool young people and is easygoing but is still responsible, and he's good. There's no special amusement about him because Calogero was never into the hero narrative. Calogero was brave and he was curious, in contrast to his father that was actually the I'm content with what I have type. It's a really normal father and son depiction. It's a real one. Tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. Carl's friends were perfect for him. Even though they had small differences, you can clearly see that it comes from how they were educated at home. Apart from that, they were all wannabe gangsters. Nobody's cooler than you. I tried to do the accent, but I can't. Nobody's cooler than you, Sonny. Carl says this after his dad stops him from running after a bus with the... I don't know what YouTube... with the black person in it, with the black kid. Nobody's cooler than you, Sonny. Carl says a few seconds before seeing this man commit a murder. But when it happened, Sonny finally saw him. I could go into detail about how weird it is for a kid to not be traumatized after this event, or why Sonny didn't do something when he saw that Calogero saw him murder someone. Maybe he just trusted the fear/power he had over everyone. But I'm just going to touch in one single moment. As we hear a church bell, Carl looks at Sonny when the policeman asks if he killed the man. Even in this moment, Carl is still waiting to be looked at, and when Sonny finally does, Carl looks back at his father. Betrayal. This is not about them getting killed if he talked. He's a kid. He wasn't thinking about that, at least not as a primary thought. Carl was considering betraying his father's good morals to make Sonny's eyes stay on him longer. And even though the sound of church bells or roacher singing are supposed to wake us up and realize the weight our actions carry in that crucial moment, Carl never repented. But Sonny kept looking. A change of name means a change of being. Sonny started to treat Carl as if he was his own son. At the top of the ladder, looking down where Calogero was, Sonny named him C. Having a nickname meant he was a part of Sonny's men's, who had also their own nicknames. To me, this scene highlights the idolatry C and everyone had for Sonny. Just like God named Simon, Peter, and many others, Sonny was surrounded by people with nicknames given to them. But Sonny isn't God. This mere human has no power when he names people as if saying you are mine. He gave people just enough to make them stay. What are you, Sonny? An ex-boyfriend? What's that? Through reading the Holy Bible, I saw something. God humiliating himself for us. I'm talking about the Old Testament days, the BC edition. Think with me. Why would a powerful God that has the power to just everything, why would he keep on saying repent? Why would he keep on saying come to me? Because he loved us, and loving people means humiliating yourself for them. Boy, he could literally just Noah Ark us all over again. You know, water is not the only thing that kills. Loving people will oftentimes bring humiliation. But Sonny had no love, and that's why he can't have no God complex. He was afraid to love because real love makes you humiliate yourself. It gives you the responsibility to protect what you love with all your strength. And the more you love, the more you give yourself. And sometimes that isn't rewarded. So I do understand Sonny's decision to not have a family and be feared rather than loved. I just think we can become selfish without even realizing that. The word selfish means lack of consideration for other people, and I gave you a definition for that word because to me, the question that comes to mind is, am I selfish for wanting to focus on my goals instead of just giving myself into love? That's what popped in my mind. I would say that everyone has a different answer for that because everyone has a different life. It's not bad to have a different answer, but it's good to think about it. She liked him back though. I feel like if this movie was a series and not a movie, I would love to see Sonny's loneliness represented more on screen. I would also like to see Jane's and Calogero relationship more explored, but we'll talk about that later. She was different from Sonny's men's. A powerful education makes a person. She wasn't a kid anymore, but he still had his principles, something I believe Sonny admired but could never teach him. It came from home. She could dress, talk, and behave like them, but he was still his own person, carrying an unexpected sense of innocence while being exposed to a bad world since he was young. I had to turn off the lights, but let's continue. I just wonder why she that didn't do more to stop him from being close to Sonny. During all of those years, he didn't do much more than say a few things and say that the worker man is the good man. Why didn't he do much? Maybe his desire for justice didn't come with the courage necessary to do something about it. Relatable and many. There, on the bus of his innocence, Hal meets a girl. Let me tell you, this girl, she has some staring tips because she didn't even talk and the man was stumbling already. Virtuous woman, who will find you? She was tall, she was beautiful, and she was classy. But she was black. I was supposed to make a straight face, but she was black. Actually, I think the story treated their relationship almost perfectly. Bronx Tale is not supposed to be a romantic story, but it does well in mixing it with other topics. And that's how life is. A little bit of everything. But Calogero can't run away from her. He doesn't want to. He doesn't even try. Unfortunately, it's written on the face of those he knows. Their relationship was fated to be about race and not love. Don't get me wrong. As a black woman, my first instinct is to criticize how short Jane's appearances in this movie were. How she was only a pass point and maybe even just good publicity to the story. And I don't like that they didn't give us enough time to care about her, to learn about her. But still, I cared about her because she was so charismatic. But that's also why I wanted more of her. However, I'm someone with eyes to see and a mouth to express myself. And I will tell you, this movie didn't need all of that. This movie was about one specific thing, but it was able to throw a plot in there. That's why I said it should be a series if you wanted to do more. And for the little time that it has, it explains what it needs to explain really well. Is it perfect? No, but it's really well done. However, in my mind, I can't help but wonder, couldn't he really run away from the curious eyes on the windows? He cared so much about what his people thought. Is a colored person only worth caring for if you like her? Anyways. Race gets them, and it gets them quickly. Because C friends are and he is friends with people. They beat up the black boys that were passing by with bicycles. C tries to help one of them, but he still asks him to stay on the floor while he's on top of him, pretending to hit him. C is a hypocrite. Not bad, but not good. He's a hypocrite. He's not good. But his friends are the ones I want to pay attention to. The weird flame that bothered their souls whenever they saw a black person was oblivious to me. I could ask why they had that inside of them, but that question was already made, and the answer is only hate. So I'm just gonna call them crazy. Their craziness leads them to their end. C realizes Sonny is a lonely man incapable of accepting love when Sonny doesn't believe him when he says he did nothing to the car. Did you? No, my car? No, no, I would never do that to you, Sonny. You'd be like a father to me. Mind you, Sonny himself had lended him the car to go out with Jane. In a rush of white greatness or madness, C entered their friend's car to go some black people. But Sonny, realizing his mistake, went back and took C out of the car. Because being afraid to love won't stop you from loving. Jane forgives him way too quickly when her brother says, "Oh no, he didn't beat me. He was just watching." His friends, on the other side, consumed by their own madness, get killed with the same fire they first ignited. Carl realizes Sonny saved his life, and when he goes to apologize, Sonny fruits come to hunt him, and he gets killed by the son of the first man he killed in the movie, and nobody cared. In the end, we realize that there is no complete good or bad, not if you're human. This movie was a movie about love, all kinds of love, and loving in a hard society.